Next news. Breaking news.
Vali Isar Street now carries a Tehran billboard of the White House burning. And not just the White House, coffins for President Trump, his family, and Netanyahu sit right in front of it under blood for blood, eye for an eye. And stop right there and take that in. While Iran hangs open death propaganda in public, Tim Kaine runs to the cameras whining about Trump instead of the regime making the threat. And that contrast is really the whole story. Trump just hosted Iraq's prime minister for an unscheduled lunch, called him a champion, and hammered Iran after they shot first. But wait until you hear what Gulf leaders offered Trump instead of a straight fee. Billions and billions of dollars is what leaders offered Trump to invest here. I'll read that again. Not another blank check overseas, not another lecture from a think tank. Billions flowing into the United States because Trump used leverage and the region knows the adult is back in charge. And at the exact same time, Trump said oil companies are moving into partnerships with Iraq. And we don't think we need the military there anymore. You see, that's the win right there. Less Iranian grip, less American exposure, more American money, and more American strength. Now look at the other side. Tim Kaine called it a foolish, illegal war after Iran blew up the ceasefire and after Tehran plastered a death banner of a burning White House. Now you tell me, who is Kaine protecting when he jams up the Senate floor with that garbage? I stopped at that line because it exposes the whole Democrat racket. Trump gave Iran a chance. They shot first. Trump snaps back. Kaine shields the terror ecosystem and calls that virtue. No. That road gets Americans killed. And when kings and emirs start calling Donald Trump with billions, you should ask where the little guy still gets trapped by bureaucratic games. Start with Medicare. Big Insurance built a Medicare confusion industrial complex of junk mail, robocalls, and fine print so seniors stay stuck. Chapter blows that up. They're very simple, and it's by design. One call, one advisor, under 20 minutes, they look at your doctors, your prescriptions, your whole situation, and tell you the truth with no propaganda, just facts. You see, they work for you, not Big Insurance. If you're already on the right plan, they will say it. If not, they can help you switch. Last year, people who found new plans with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. So call Chapter at the number on your screen right there. It's a free call. 910-728-4109. You've got nothing to lose. See, clarity beats freeloaders every time. Clarity's leverage and confusion keeps seniors trapped. Ali al-Zaidi got an unscheduled White House lunch today because Trump said they had tremendous chemistry. See, that's not a throwaway line. Now watch the move here with me. Trump isn't begging Baghdad. He's pulling Iraq out of Iran's shadow in real time. He even said the other option was not good for America and not good for Iraq. And that's how you know this was a deliberate checkmate, not a cocktail party diplomacy session. And while Kaine cries on cue, Trump is building a pro-America bloc and cashing leverage into U.S. investment. Now let's get to the post because the receipts on this are brutal. Take a look here. This is what the Iranians have just erected. Laura Loomer breaking this story today. Erected this new billboard banner in Tehran showing the White House on fire with the coffins of President Trump and his family members. It says, blood for blood, eye for an eye. That is what they are putting up. And they're so proud of it too, aren't they? Well, President Trump is about to finish that game. The billboard wasn't subtle, a direct threat at Trump and Netanyahu in the crosshairs. And instead of calling it what it is, Tim Kaine jumps on camera to attack Trump over the strait and call the fight illegal. The ceasefire falls apart. And now Trump says America must be the guardian of the strait. Look, we're already Team America, man. Get over it.
Is anybody really surprised that we're back here again? Today we learned that the ceasefire that the president negotiated was unraveling, and we're returning to Iran and the United States and other nations trading back and forth fire. The president announced that the U.S. was going to take over the Straits and be the guardian of the Straits, and that suggests this war is going much, much longer than 5 months. We need to get out of a foolish war that's hurting America and a war that's also illegal, and I'm going to do all I can to make sure we do.
Yep, we know what side you're on, buddy. We know what side. So he calls it a foolish war, acts like the real problem is Trump. Now Senate Republicans fire back saying Kaine is effectively doing the bidding of a terrorist regime. Senator Kaine is siding with a terrorist regime simply to jam up the Senate floor. So Kaine getting torched for running cover. Next, Trump revives talk of seizing Kharg Island, where most of Iran's oil exports move out. President Trump just reposted calls for the U.S. to seize Kharg Island. I'm surprised they haven't done it already. The location where Iran sends out 90% of its oil. That would be a death blow to the regime. And I'm not sure why he is holding back. But here is the post and some remarks, it looks like, from his Turkey summit.
We attacked Kharg Island last night. We knocked out a piece. I said, don't touch the oil, because maybe we'll take over Kharg Island. You know, we may take over Kharg Island. There's not a thing they can do about it. But I said, don't hit the pipes, just hit everything else. And they hit it. They may hit it again tonight.
So Kharg Island would hit the regime where it hurts most, in the pocketbook. And while the pressure builds, Trump is also working the diplomatic side, welcoming Iraq's prime minister to the White House. This happened today. Trump welcoming the Iraqi prime minister to the White House.
One more.
We love Iraq, and they're well represented. This man just won a big election. They are very well represented. I can tell you that. Thank you very much.
So you just saw the formal greeting outside the White House. Inside, Trump goes further, praising Iraq's new leader, even throwing together an unscheduled lunch.
Well, thank you very much. We've had already a good meeting. We're going to decide to do a little lunch. It wasn't scheduled, but we are going to do it on the fly because we have a tremendous chemistry together. The Prime Minister of Iraq has been amazing. He won an election that a lot of people didn't anticipate could be won by anybody else other than another person who was not, in my opinion, a good person. Not good for America. I don't think good for Iraq. And I played a role in, it was very important to me to have somebody get in there that can do the job and do it well. And we have a fantastic champion, a new champion. And he won the election very soundly, very conclusively, and he wasn't favored. But by the time they got to know him, he ended up winning. And he's going to be there for a long time. So I just want to say it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister of Iraq with us. He's been a great fighter, and he's been a great fan of America. We'll be discussing that a little bit with you. But they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time. And I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week. But massive, among the largest. So they have done a fantastic job over the last very short period of time. But they have a great leader, the new Prime Minister. He's a great leader. I think he's going to be there for a long period of time. And it's great to have you at the White House. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, Trump laying out energy alliances and who he wants leading Iraq next. He reveals Gulf leaders called offering billions in U.S. investment instead of a straight fee. Trump reveals wealthy Middle Eastern leaders called him, offered to invest billions and billions into the U.S. if he took off the 20% toll from the Strait of Hormuz.
I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love, and they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars and continue our record setting, because there's never been a time like this with the United States, with the factories, with the plants, with everything else. And we would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee. And I like that, actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the strait or for any other straight relationship in terms of other sections of the world. I don't think anybody should be really in that position. But we were doing it as a reimbursement. The Gulf states are going to invest a tremendous amount of money into the United States, and that was very satisfactory to me. I think it's actually much better.
I can also add.
So while the media screams war, Trump says allies are lining up to put serious money into America. Here he doubles down, saying those Gulf investments are the better deal.
Well, we don't think we need the military there anymore. It's a very big operation. And what we do have is the oil companies are all going in now, and they're doing partnerships with Iraq, and they're getting along very well. The relationship is a whole big relationship where we don't need the military there. We're there to help them. We're there to protect them if need be, but we don't think that's going to be necessary. And their primary, I consider an opponent. They might have considered a friend, but I consider that an opponent was Iran, was a big burden on Iraq because they were the bully of the Middle East, as you know. And we were just talking about that, but they're not going to have that problem anymore because Iran has been very much destabilized, and really their military power is just a tiny fraction of what it was just 4 months ago. So they're not going to have that problem. I think that it's really, in a sense, it's given them freedom to do what they have to do. And I think that's one of the reasons that our oil companies are going in there at levels that have never been seen before. So.
That's the Trump formula: strength abroad, cash coming home. He ties it back to Iraq. Next, saying U.S. oil partnerships are growing while Iran's grip on Baghdad is breaking.
So when I put that out yesterday, because we've been doing that for many, many years, it was never fair to me that we would be guarding the strait when we basically don't take any, we don't need the oil at all. And it wasn't important for us, but it was important for allies. It was important for people that we get along with very well, including the major Gulf state countries. So I put it out yesterday. I thought it was good. I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love, and they've been very strong partners. And they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States.
Then he gets asked the key question: any regrets about lifting the blockade and sanctions waivers?
Given how the Iranians have been behaving, do you have any regrets about lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waivers?
No. I gave them a chance. I wanted to give them a chance at making a deal. We had a deal 2 days ago. It was done. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first, and that was a big mistake that they shot first, because we have been knocking the hell out of them. They're very difficult people. 47 years we put up with it. The SS Cole, you go back all the way, thousands of people, thousands of Americans were killed, a lot of soldiers were killed. A lot of soldiers are walking around or not walking around. I mean, they've been so badly injured. The arms, the legs, the face, with the Soleimani, with the bomb. They call it the roadside bomb. Most people call it the roadside bomb. It's a disaster. And I killed him in my first administration. Had I not, it might be a different story today. He was a mad genius. He was probably a madman, but he was a general. and he had total control over the country. And I actually think the leaders of Iran were afraid of Soleimani. But I killed him. And by the way, with him went a very bad person also. They happened to be meeting each other at the airport. And a very bad person from Iraq happened to be a leader of Iraq, happened to be killed in that same incident. So I don't know if I did you a favor or not. I've never asked you that question. You probably would know better than me. But no, I think that what we've done to Iran is we've taken away almost all of their military capability.
No regrets, he says. Now the military response ramps up with new strikes and the Navy moving to lock down the strait. Trump has ordered the U.S. military to conduct more strikes on Iran as the U.S. Navy gears up to reinstate the blockage of the strait.
Trump's orders, U.S. jets have been launched tonight to strike Iran for the 6th time in the past week. Earlier, President Trump met with Iraq's new prime minister. He's only been in the job about 2 months, and like President Trump, has a background in construction and media.
What we do have is the oil companies are all going in now, and they're doing partnerships with Iraq, and they're getting along very well. The relationship is a whole big relationship where we don't need the military.
Iraq's prime minister said all 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq will leave by late September. Last night at sea, strike aircraft launched from the George H.W. Bush and the Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln has now been at sea, Martha, for over 200 days without a port call. F-35Bs also launched from the amphibious assault ship Boxer nearby. Tomahawk cruise missiles also fired from destroyers in the strike groups. Despite the American bombardment over the past week, Iran has been launching attacks of its own against neighboring Gulf states, including Kuwait and Bahrain earlier today, where U.S. troops are housed. This is the aftermath of an Emirati tanker hit by an Iranian cruise missile last night, killing 1 crew member and wounding 8 others. Other tankers were hit as well, and tanker traffic has slowed in the Strait of Hormuz. There have not been any attacks by Iran against Israel since early June. The last attack by Hezbollah into northern Israel was roughly 2 weeks ago. That said, Martha, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued this warning to Iran earlier today.
Do not count on it being quiet if you attack us. Do not count on a rerun. This will be a different event. Much more powerful.
So after the strikes, the contrast couldn't be clearer. And then Chuck Schumer steps up on the Senate floor and delivers a different kind of a meltdown. The Blaze notes, clean up on aisle Schumer. Democrat Senator Chuck Schumer appears to have farted while giving a speech on the Senate floor.
And we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration... And we need a complete investigation that's independent. Now on Iran and the NDAA. When all the Trump administration...
Goodness. Chuck Schumer just farted on the Senate floor. They shot first, and that was a big mistake. That's what Trump said, because we have been knocking the hell out of them. There it is. No apology, no mumbling, no weakness dressed up as sophistication. Iran fired. Trump hammered back. Then Tehran answered with that billboard. White House on fire, Trump family coffins, blood for blood, eye for an eye. And Tim Kaine looked at that regime, looked at those threats, and chose to attack Trump's response as illegal. I want you to sit with that choice for just 1 second. Kaine didn't get cornered into it, he made it. Chuck Schumer babbles on the White House floor while the Iranian regime blasts death imagery in public, and Democrats still can't find the moral spine to name the enemy. Trump did. He destabilized the bully. He pulled Iraq closer. He made the Gulf states pay us with investment instead of American blood. So Tim Kaine needs to answer one question. Why did he run cover for Tehran? Not in the abstract, not with Senate word games. Why did he attack Trump after Iran shot first and after Tehran put up a billboard showing a burning White House and coffins for the president's family? That answer matters, and every Republican should force it into the open. You and I just watched the split screen together. Trump welcomed Ali al-Zaidi, built chemistry on the fly, pushed Iraq further from Iran, and said we may not need the military there anymore, and turned the straight pressure into billions of dollars for American investment. That is America First power used correctly. So here's what we do with it. Name the regime, name the Democrats who shield it, and expose every media clown who downplays an open death threat against an American president. And keep your eye on the Iraq piece. Keep your eye on Kharg Island, and keep your eye on the money that's coming home. Trump is not dragging America into weakness-driven chaos. He's making enemies fear us again. That's exactly why the right people are panicking. And I recognize that you're panicking too. You can't find us in the feeds. You're not getting the notifications from YouTube. So we set up this number, and thousands of patriots are taking advantage of it every single day. Just text the words raw feed 844-840-4963. Text the word to that number, and you will be on the insiders list, and you will not be left in the dark. Look forward to seeing you. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.